Hey everybody. So you can tell by those four titles I just showed you, I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite film directors today, and that is John Hughes. John Hughes, you guys, he has been a part of so many excellent movies. I'm actually going to have to pull up his filmography here because I am such a huge fan of most of his work. Um, let's see what we got here. We have. I'm going to put this to the side of me here. He was a part of Mr. Mom, National Lampoon's Vacation, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, She's Having a Baby, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Career Opportunities, Curly Sue, Beethoven, Home Alone 2, Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, Home Alone 3, and he also was a co-writer for Made in Manhattan and Drillbit Taylor. So this man's been a part of a lot of things, and you can see why he's one of my favorite directors because a lot of those titles are some of my favorite movies. So anyway, guys, I think what makes John Hughes easily my favorite director is he directed one of my big all-time favorite movies, which is Weird Science. I love this movie every time I watch it. In some ways, I even like it better every time I watch it. So John Hughes, you guys, he is a really good director. He can take a lot of subject matters and really put it into the perspective of a teen or a young adult or any age group that the characters are in all his movies. Um, in 16 Candles, he was able to achieve the perspective of a 16-year-old girl who really thinks that people forgot about her birthday and that her life was in trouble and that she would never get the guy that she wanted. In Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he's able to portray a middle aged man who has to get home to his family for Thanksgiving. He can't because the plane, the train, and the automobile all run into a problem on his way home. Um, he can you can give the man almost any person of any age, and he will come up with an interesting subject matter and make a good movie about it. Um, what really makes, and I think this is why John Hughes is one of the better film directors, he can make believable teen and adult perspectives. He makes it sound like his characters are a teen in that generation. Like when you're watching Weird Science or 16 Candles, all the dialogue from the teenage characters sound like something that someone from the 80s would say, or someone from the 90s would say, or someone from the 2000s would say. He was able to really put into perspective the time period that he was filming in and bring that to life in his movies. Um, I think Roger Ebert or Gene Siskel said this too. They're both really famous film critics. He's able to really take kind of what bothers us as teenagers or bothers us as adults and really portray that in a movie quite well. Like you can tell that teen is struggling with it, and you know why because you were once a teenager as well. Or you can tell that adult was struggling with it because when you're an adult, you start to realize how hard some of those things are as well. Um, and I think Mr. Hughes was able to create some really interesting story ideas for a movie. Like, what if you want the perfect guy, but the imperfect guy wants you instead? What if two kids are have nothing to do over the weekend, but they decide to create the ultimate, most beautiful woman they could ever imagine to life, and finally experience what a date is like, since no one in their school wants to date them? Um, in Uncle Buck, a film I haven't talked about yet in this video. Another great John Hughes movie. He was able to take kind of the family member of a certain family and really have a life changing experience for them in the sense that Buck was really never quite involved with that portion of that family in that story that he was in. But after the whole experience of the movie, Buck changes himself. He affected the family in a positive way. You would think by the beginning of the film that there was no hope for Buck, but by the end of the film, you start to realize how brilliantly he was willing to adapt with his own family. So John Hughes, you guys, he really makes inspiring movies. I go back to his films all the time because they are so inspiring and so comedic and so well written. I truly miss the man, and when I met Molly Ringwald in 2010, she said that she missed him a lot as well. Um, so John Hughes, you guys, if you have not seen any of his films, you've got to check him out. He is really, really good. I guarantee you'll like at least one of his movies, easily one of them, if not 5 or 10 of them. He really makes interesting subject matters, really good stories, and he's easily one of my favorite film directors. So John Hughes, you guys, really wanted to take this video to talk about him. He's an excellent film director. He is dead, unfortunately, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Drillbit Taylor was his last movie he worked on. He was credited as Edmond Dantes, so I guess that's a pen name that he has. And I believe he was only a co-writer for that movie, so he didn't have a lot to do with it at all. Um, John Hughes, you guys, make sure you watch one of his movies. It's excellent stuff that he makes. So there you go, you guys. That's my John Hughes discussion.